Welcome back, YouTube. This is Trilla with Blerdsbgaming, and we are back with the Chicken Police. So where we left off is that we had just arrived at the insane asylum, and we are here to see Albert, which is Ibn Wessler's twin brother. We spoke to the nurse here, and she went to go see if the doctor can see us. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's see what we can see while we're waiting.
We should go to reception first. Let them know we're here.
And we actually did that already. She's no longer there.
This guy seems strangely familiar to me.
You don't say. You've been treated here too.
Okay, we knew from the previous time that is the Jazz. I'm really curious as to what actually happened to them.
To escape, there's nothing but hills and forests for 100 miles.
Imagine how many poor lunatic ghosts must haunt those woods.
Ooh, Sonny, you're creeping me out.
Yeah, ditto.
Dr. Quetzal will see you. He's waiting for you in his office. Up the stairs, all the way down the hall, until the last door.
What a surprise. It's enough to mention Wessler's name and all the doors are open.
I wouldn't want to get mixed up in this, but do you think Albert is in danger?
Danger? What do you mean?
We haven't heard from him since he disappeared, and we're really, really worried.
I see. We don't know yet, miss, but let's hope for the best.
Great wild ones protect him.
Where is he?
No idea, Marty.
The smell of all that's furry. I'll never get used to it.
Well, reptiles have a disgusting body odor, Marty, but they feel exactly the same about us.
Exactly. Great wild ones, you scared the hell out of me.
I already sensed your arrival from afar. You know, snakes have a different sense of smell, and birds used to be our prey once upon a time.
Well, yeah. Luckily, we're living in civilized times.
Lucky. Please take a seat. How can I help you, gentlemen?
Okay, that was a little sketch, but so I still maintain that the person who is dead is actually not Albert, but it's actually Ibn, because Ibn has been, everybody has been telling us that Ibn has been, you know, acting strangely, and you know, he was hesitant about how he met Natasha. There's like little things that are adding up that really make me feel like either they're the same person, which is, that would be impossible. So I really fall towards the, you know, Albert killed Ibn. But anyway, they wouldn't let me choose that when we did the interrogation, so I might be completely off. All right, so let's see what we have to look at in his office, and then we'll go ahead and talk to him.
Your office is rather Puritan. Simple, I mean.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, yes. I can't let my mind wander from my work. I only keep what's essential in my office.
I see. That makes sense.
The window. That is a creepy scene outside the window.
Why do you have bars on your windows?
Because it's a room like all the others, and I'm just an animal too, like all our residents.
With the significant difference of you being a doctor and not a patient, am I right?
It's not as big of a difference as you'd think.
So are the walls the same? Are you going to tell me the same thing if I click on this one?
Is this cell like the others?
I would rather call it a room. But yes, it's like all the others, except there are even bigger ones than this.
Okay. Is there anything else to see in his room? Desk.
An isle of reason in a sea of insanity.
Insanity is such a strong word, and it's mostly an abstract idea. Where does insanity start, and how long is one not insane? Interesting questions. Am I normal, or are you? Maybe neither of us.
You see, that's something I think about a lot nowadays.
If you like, I can give you an appointment.
Oh, this is your chance, Sonny. Don't miss it. We're already here.
Marty, clock up.
Okay. All right, so we have some new information. I believe it's on Albert's. Let's see. Okay, we might have a bingo. Albert Wessler has disappeared from the asylum. I think this one, we already read this. Albert Wessler is Hobart Ibn Wessler's twin brother who is being treated in an insane asylum far from the city. So I think we got that one. Does he have anything else? No. All right, let's go back out and let's start talking to him.
A snake. I can't help it, but they make my feathers stand on end.
To be honest, gentlemen, your visit is anything but a surprise. I could even say I was expecting it.
What an introduction.
Please forgive me. I have the bad habit of immediately getting into the middle of things. How very rude of me. My name is Dr. Sessuous Quetzalcoatl, but most call me Dr. Quetzal to keep it simple.
The name is Santino Featherland, and this is my partner, Martin McChicken, from
the Predatory Division of the Clawville Police Department. Your fame is one step ahead of you.
We're used to it.
Certainly.
We have some questions about one of your patients, if you don't mind. We'd like to talk to him, if that's possible.
Please be specific, Detective.
Look, Doctor, we're too tired to play cat and mouse. Not that snake and chicken sounds any better.
Very funny, I must say. Just what I expected from you two detectives.
We know you know it's about Albert Wessler, Ibn Wessler's secret twin. Ever since we've said his name, all the doors have miraculously opened. That's what we call a bullseye.
Well, yes. Why should I deny it? We're talking about a rather illustrious patient here, who's also a very particular medical case.
Now, that's much more interesting. So, are you willing to talk about him?
Because Albert, regrettably, has disappeared, and you are police detectives, I have no reason not to talk to you. Of course, I'm at your service, but you must understand I can't disclose information about my patients.
Not even if it's a matter of life and death?
Everything's a matter of life and death in here, Detective. This is a hospital, even if it's primarily for the mind, not the body.
Still, I'd like to give the impossible a try.
Please, Detective, just do your job, and I'll do mine.
Okay, so now we can ask him some questions. So he said that Albert had a particular mental case. Maybe I wasn't so far off when I said they were one and the same. Maybe he has split personality or something. All right, Albert Wessler.
How long was Albert a resident of the institution?
For quite some time. His first symptoms surfaced in his teens. Depression, panic attacks, and schizophrenia.
Was he brought here immediately after the first signs that something wasn't right?
You know, the biggest problem with an opinion on insanity is that animals are ashamed of it. That's the reason our institution stands out here in the middle of nowhere.
Because animals would rather hide what they're afraid to face.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
As far as I know, the Wessler family wasn't exceptionally wealthy.
Indeed, they were rather poor, but we offer our services gratis.
Then how do you sustain yourselves?
By the grace of the treasury of King Hector III, of course.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
My family and the royal dynasty had always been on good terms, Mr. Santino.
Okay, so now we can interrogate him, but we're going to continue our questions.
What kind of a place is this exactly? I assume it wasn't built as an insane asylum.
It used to be a mansion. Construction started during the occupation in 622. Then it stood empty for almost a century, until finally it went to the crown of Clawville when Hector's great-grandfather took the throne. The rest is history.
How long have you been working here?
I've worked here for more than 30 years, but it's been in my family's possession for almost 150 years.
So if I count correctly, as soon as it went to the crown, it was seized by your family.
That's almost accurate, Mr. Featherland.
What a lovely inheritance.
Okay, Madame Zavas.
Tell me, Doctor, do you know Madame Zavas?
Just like everybody else, I've heard of her, but I never had the pleasure of meeting her in person. I'm sure she's an interesting case.
Oh, you can be sure about that. I'd gladly get you two together if I had the chance. A spare cell would suit her very much.
Is that so?
As it turns out, she likes small, narrow, secret places.
Oh, I see. What a coincidence.
He keeps looking at his watch. Okay, so we actually had some codexes. So let's take a look at that. So the first one was some more information on him, on the doctor. The professor's family has governed the mental health facility and its estate for more than 100 years. Quite a heritage, eh? And a codex entry. It's the half-century occupation. Since its foundation, an attempt to conquer Clawville has only been made once. The half-century occupation started in 622 and lasted until 677. During this time, the Hara, I don't know how to say it, Empire took over all the Clawville's territory except its colonies, which in the end, with the help of the Swalasso and the Blavoslavia, took back control over Clawville. A lot of names to pronounce. All right. So let's go ahead and interrogate him. Oops. Skip that. Didn't mean to do that. Dr. Quetzal's a real mystery, but I can turn that to my advantage. I just need to focus on the strangest pieces of the puzzle, okay? So when did Albert become a resident of your institution?
So when did Albert become a resident of your institute?
Albert and Hobart, or Ibn as you call him, arrived here almost exactly 4 years ago.
Could you describe that day more specifically?
It was not long after New Year's Eve, maybe the first week of the year, if I'm not mistaken. It was sleeting that day. Wind was banging incessantly on the windows. The power was going out for short periods of time.
What was your first impression of them?
I already knew the Wessler name. I knew who they were, or at least I knew one of them, Hobart Wessler. He was famous. Gangster, moneylender, celebrity, lover.
And Albert?
He was new to me, an invisible gray ghost. The family had tried to keep his existence a secret.
Why?
Because they were ashamed of him, of course, Mr. Featherland. That's how it usually is.
What was your first impression of him?
He was silent, but observed everything that surrounded him. His eyes were constantly moving, never stopped for a second.
Was he afraid?
I wouldn't say so. It seemed to me that he wanted to move into our institution voluntarily. It looked as if he couldn't wait to be here, alone, locked up in silence and darkness.
Didn't you think of that as unusual?
Of course I did, but who am I to judge? It was rather special treatment.
Okay. What kind of special treatment did Albert get? Tell me, did Ibn Wessler threaten you in any way? I'm not sure. I'm gonna go with the first one.
What kind of special treatment did Albert get?
You know, if an institution like ours has to accept a Wessler as a guest, there's bound to be some favoritism.
And complete secrecy, I guess.
Yes, but that's the case for all our patients, Mr. Featherland.
Of course. So in what way did he receive more than the others?
Basically, we don't admit anyone into our institution without a complete and thorough prior assessment. In the case of Albert, we put that aside.
So you didn't even know if he had anything wrong with him?
Initially, no. He was more of a guest than a patient.
That is quite strange. Okay. Do you think he was a threat to others? How did Albert relate to you? How did you see Albert when you first met? I kind of want to ask the middle. These ones are a little bit tougher to decipher exactly what I'm supposed to be saying or asking. But I think I'll go with the middle one.
How did Albert relate to you?
Albert was immensely sophisticated and polite, so much so that his true emotions and thoughts could not be deciphered.
And that's why you thought of him as an exciting case.
That's right, Mr. Featherland. I see you're starting to get to know me in some way.
I'm just doing my job, Doctor.
You and me both.
Okay. Are you telling me Albert had multiple personalities?
Are you telling me Albert had multiple personalities?
We found out very quickly that there was no other reason for the cause of his seizures. He had a cold and calculating personality who sometimes, especially on stormy days, took the reins over their shared mind.
He had these seizures from the beginning.
Yes, Mr. Featherland, but they started to intensify after Albert left our institution for the first time.
He did what? Left the institution? More than once?
Oh, yes, Mr. Featherland. Albert left the institution on several occasions until the last time, when he failed to come back.
Quetzal's not only very observant, but he's addicted to details. I must focus on that if I want to get closer to the truth. Focus. Addicted to details.
So they're trying to help me out. Like, are we absolute certain that Albert and Hobart are not the same person? Are we sure? But I mean, one way or another, I don't think it's Albert that's dead. I really don't. Okay, so you're keeping some things from me, am I right? How could you let Albert leave this place? When and why did Albert leave the institution for the first time? So Albert could just walk out? So we're addicted to detail. That's what they're telling us to do. But none of these are really detailed questions. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask. They're all quite vague. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask what I think is the right thing to do. So Albert could just walk out in and out is a very important one to me. But then so is this. When and why did Albert leave the institution? I'm going to go with that one.
When and why did Albert leave the institution for the first time?
It was about 2 years ago. Mr. Hobart Wessler appeared and demanded we let his brother go free. Naturally, we obliged. We had no idea if we'd ever see him again.
But you did.
He returned the same day. Albert was ecstatic. He was unrestrained. I could almost say happy.
That was unusual for him?
I had never seen him like that before, Mr. Featherland. He just smiled and stared at the empty wall for hours.
Did he ever tell you what happened to him outside?
Of course he did. Albert and I had a good relationship. He was working on a painting for his brother.
Was it a painting of a lovely lady cat?
Oh, exactly. So you already knew about that.
Yes, Dr. Quetzal, I've seen it.
The painting of her on the wall. The naked picture of Natasha. Anyway, let's keep going. So Albert had left on many occasions to continue working on the painting. Did Albert tell you about his relationship with his brother? Has Albert ever talked to you about Natasha? Did Albert tell you how he felt about the painting? I'm not going to ask. Those are all good questions. I want to ask one of these, and kind of secondary, I want to ask this one here.
Has Albert ever talked to you about Natasha?
Only in superlatives, as if he wasn't talking about a real person, but an ethereal being, about an angel or a demon, something that is not of this world.
And what did you think about his fantasies?
We are in an institution where almost everyone is hallucinating on a daily basis, Mr. Featherland. It didn't really bother me, but the fluctuations of positive and negative were more disturbing.
Thanks, Doc. I didn't understand a word, but I think I get the point.
I had a feeling that was going to be a negative, but actually I think that's pretty relevant. Okay, so Albert had left on many occasions to continue to... so that's the one they wanted me to pick.
So Albert left on many occasions to continue working on the painting.
Exactly, Mr. Featherland. Every time he came back, he was like a different person. But unfortunately, his seizures also multiplied and became more dangerous.
More dangerous?
Albert was hurting himself, and on one occasion he even tried to hurt me. It was unprecedented. It seemed his confined personality was taking over their shared mind entirely, piece by piece.
Do you think the painting caused it?
Not the painting, Mr. Featherland.
But its subject.
Exactly. He was obsessed, right until that fateful day when he returned to us for the last time.
What exactly happened that day, Doctor?
It wasn't Hobart who brought his brother back that day, but two of his gorillas. Not literally, I mean. And Albert was in a terrible, terrible state.
What happened to him?
I don't like to talk about that, Mr. Featherland.
It could be vital to the case, Dr. Quetzal. Don't back down.
Oh, you're right. There's no use turning back now. So, Albert's tongue was torn out, or cut off, I don't know exactly, and he was blinded in one eye, or rather, one of his eyes was missing entirely.
So you're saying Albert was brought back horribly mutilated?
Yes. And they didn't give any explanation as to what had happened. They simply told me it was some kind of accident.
Dr. Quetzal is cold and professional, but he's also very confused. Maybe it's cruel, but I must exploit his vulnerability if I want to learn everything about Albert. Focus? Confused.
Okay, so if they cut his tongue out, then he would never be able to say, you know, anything at all. Like, perhaps I'm not Albert, I don't belong here. He wouldn't be able to say that. So I'm still sticking with my theory. All right, the two fellas who brought Albert back, could you describe them? Maybe it's not easy for you to talk about, but did you examine his wounds thoroughly? You didn't believe Albert had an accident, right? Okay. I like both the first one and the third one. I'm gonna go with the third one. Whew, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go with, yeah.
You didn't believe Albert had an accident, is that right?
Of course not. I'm not naive. I knew immediately that Albert had been severely battered, and I was sure it had been his brother, Hobart.
Well, we don't know that, Dr. Quetzal.
Would you defend a monster?
Take it easy, Doc. One of the most critical elements of my job is not to make assumptions.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Featherland. I'm sorry I got carried away.
It's all right. Happens to everyone.
I had a feeling that was the wrong one. I kind of like know what is the right one and what is the wrong one in here, but to me, I follow what I want to ask. I'm sorry, but some of the questions seem a little bit more relevant than others. Okay, pull yourself together, doctor. What was Albert's condition after the incident? Or concentrate, doctor. What do you think happened to Albert? I'm gonna go with the first one.
Pull yourself together, Doctor. What was Albert's condition after the incident?
Mind your tone, detective.
Sorry, Doc, but I can see you're disturbed by these memories.
How could I not be? I'm not a monster. We're talking about a mutilated animal here.
So, what was he like after the incident?
Even more silent than ever. No surprise, I suppose. He was not only silent in words, but also in his soul and spirit.
What do you mean by that?
He never painted anything again, and his seizures completely stopped.
That didn't get me far.
It's Ibn. Okay, what happened then? How did Albert disappear?
What happened then? How did Albert disappear?
A few weeks later, Hobart came to visit Albert one more time. Albert had been in terrible condition by then. We even had to transfer him to another cell, a more safe one.
What did Hobart do during the visit?
He didn't do anything. He just sat and watched his brother, who was in an almost vegetative state by then.
Couldn't you manage to draw anything out of him? You or Hobart?
Nothing. For a while, he was trying to signal something. Perhaps he was too afraid. And most likely his fingers had been broken too, so he couldn't even write.
Do you think Hobart could have killed Albert?
It's horrible to say it, but I'm sure of it.
How did he disappear in the end? Did someone come for him?
That's what's most eerie about it all, Mr. Featherland. He simply disappeared. His door, which only I had a key for, was open.
Did anyone see anything?
No one. We interrogated the staff, even the patients. He simply vanished off the face of the wilderness. We don't know what happened to him.
Unfortunately, I have a hunch. Thank you, Doctor. You've been a great help.
Oh, well, I'm glad I could be of help. But please, I now must attend to my work.
We understand, Doctor. Thank you.
Okay, so 60% on that one. Albert Wesker disappeared. We have a hunch about what could have happened to him. Okay, so we have a couple of codexes here, mostly under the descriptions of people. Okay, he is cold, reserved, and endlessly professional in his own field, but the thing that happened to Albert even got a rise out of him. No surprises there, I think. Okay. Albert's brother, Ibn, took him out of the asylum on several occasions to paint that fateful picture of Natasha. I think we have a motive, gentlemen. Okay, so we can't go anywhere just yet. And we can't, I don't believe we can. Oh yeah, we can. I'm gonna talk to her one more time, and then I'm gonna see if we can get out of here.
Sorry, but I still can't believe it's really you.
Neither can we.
You can't imagine how wonderful it is that I can help you in one of your cases. Does this mean it will become a new book? And maybe I will be in it?
Miss, those books aren't really...
Don't even tell me. No, I don't want to know. Let it be a surprise instead.
No, I didn't mean...
Leave it to me, Sonny. I'm good at this. Thank you, miss. Your words are very flattering, and we are honored.
No, I thank you. I'll never forget this day.
We won't either, that's for sure.
We're happy to bring you joy, miss. Anytime.
Okay, so actually I think this is a good place to leave it. Fairly certain that it's actually Ibn that's dead. And hopefully we can wrap it up when we come back. All right, you have a wonderful day, and we will see you soon. If you like the video, please like and share and comment, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.